welcome back to Sherry's Metaphysical Corner. It's me. I have some exciting news. I've been in the midst of publishing my first book. At long last, it's finally available. And here it is. This is my book. It's called A Change in Perception, and it's written by me, Cheryl Como. And there's a lot of information in this, and it's a metaphysical book, and it's purposely set out to help people open up and think outside the box. So I'm going to keep bringing this back and forth to you so that you can see it. This is awesome. I have it in soft cover as well. So if you want to learn more about the book, even read an excerpt from the book, please email me, energy4522@gmail.com. This book is a compilation of my 22 years in the metaphysical field. In it, I share what I've learned to help empower and open people's minds to think outside the box. I learned to always move forward, no matter how challenging life seemed. Many of the chapters in this book are written in a format of questions and answers with my spirit team, very similar to the author, Neil Donald Walsh, in the book Communication with God. Wonderful man. Look him up on Google. Some of my chapters include interesting information on light beings, Pleiadians, Hathors, the Elohim, personal orb images that I've taken at events and other locations, dimensions, galaxies, client testimonials, foods like alkaline and acidic foods and how to keep the body alkaline, random insights from loved ones that have crossed over, testimonials, and so much more. There's also more in here on the work. The Melchizedek method, Reiki, the emotion code that I'm doing presently, and biofield tuning with tuning forks. And for those of you that don't know me, I share an office in Plasto, New Hampshire, Libro Center for Wellbeing. And if you're on Facebook, Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, I offer at 7:30 p.m. There's a sample offering free of the emotion code work. It's muscle testing using magnets, and it's like we're going to do today, and it's releasing 3 trapped emotions from anybody that wants to sample this. It's to help educate and bring understanding to this work, and I've had some amazing beneficial results from people all across the United States that tune in with their Facebook page. It's amazing. So if you get a chance, Tuesday and Thursday evening, 7:30, jump in. It's on my Facebook page. Which brings me to a demonstration today that we're going to do on the emotion code. And this is Joe. He is going to be my demonstration. So he's going to be my model. This is going to be a lot of fun today. So this is a form of muscle testing similar to kinesiology, using magnets to locate and remove trapped emotion energy. So before we go further, let me just show you the magnets. So this is a magnet. This is an expensive magnet from Nikon, and you don't have to have a very expensive one. I like this one in particular because it rolls. The magnets roll. And then this one is just right off the refrigerator. So it does not have to be, and I'm going to emphasize that, does not have to be an expensive magnet. And these are what we use, these are the tools. Because magnets hold, everybody feels the intention of a magnet. They are really strong and powerful, and they hold the intention of whatever it is that we're putting out, always in the positive. So it's actually tapping into the subconscious of a person or an animal. And I've worked on many animals. They are wonderful to work with. They are so loving. They don't have ego, so it's really easy to work with animals, and they are very loving. And I'm going to give you this quick little story. I worked on an animal, I'm going to say maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. He was about 14 years old, just a love, and I did some work on him, and when we were done, you have to disconnect from animals' subconscious just the same way that you disconnect from a human, and I'll explain that to you at the end. So I was disconnecting from his subconscious, and he didn't want to leave. He was so happy. I could feel the energy in him. He was so happy he didn't want to disconnect. So we did finally, but it was just a wonderful experience. So the conscious mind is where we live and make daily decisions. The subconscious mind is the bulk of our intelligence. So let me just show you a demonstration here. I don't know if you can see this. If not, I'm going to put it up on the monitor in a couple of minutes. But this is an image of the iceberg. the top half of the iceberg, which is a very small part, is your conscious mind. If we would use this as an example, the submerged part of an iceberg, that is the subconscious mind. That's how large it is. It knows absolutely everything about us, all the ills we've ever had, any thought we've ever had. This is connected to universal intelligence, and that is where we get the information. So when we're working on a person or an animal, our ego steps aside. So the information comes directly from the subconscious of whomever we're working on. So normally emotions are felt and then they're processed. But sometimes energy becomes trapped and needs help to be released. And this usually happens when the body is either vulnerable or the emotion was a little too intense, like a divorce or a death in a family or death of a friend, job loss, things like that, etc. So a trapped emotion is a small ball of energy, and it can be as small as a baseball, but it can be as large as a cantaloupe. Now this is the tricky part. Trapped emotions are usually under the skin surface, immune to magnetic releasing. So if we were to just say, my shoulder hurts, and just use magnets over it, it wouldn't do anything, it wouldn't release. So until, and this is the important part, we go through the process of identifying the trapped emotion. So this is the process that's done with a flow chart, and it shows what organs are actually disrupted. And I'm going to leave you a flow chart image so that you can follow along. And I'm going to pretend right now. So this is the flow chart that it's already showing, and it comes to the surface of the body. So the flow chart is column A, column B, and it also gives us the organs on the opposite side. So that is how we detect where the subconscious is sending us. There are 60 trapped emotions in here. The subconscious is going to send us to one or the other, column A or column B, and then wherever we end up, we ask about each one of the 5 in each of the cells. And then it also will tell us which of the organs was affected by the trapped emotion that we found. Okay, so as it comes to the surface, it brings the information we need for the magnet to release it to the surface of the consciousness. So magnets are very powerful. Magnets will release it. So trapped emotion can also occur at any age, causing inflammation, pain, congestion, anxiety, self-sabotage, depression, and a host of more. So trapped emotions are released with 3 rolls of a magnet using the governing meridian line in Chinese medicine. So it's up and over the crown and down the back. So let me just show you for a quick second here. Up and over with a magnet, and we do this 3 times, just like that. That's simple. And if it's inherited trapped emotion, we go up and over 10 times to release the trapped emotion from an inherited trapped energy. So as we continue, the reason we use the governing meridian line is it's the largest reservoir of energy in the body and connects all meridian lines. So when a magnet enters this field, energy instantaneously flows through all meridians in the body. And another interesting part about this modality is inherited, like I mentioned, inherited trapped emotions. This comes from one of the biological parents, like DNA being passed on from your parent. This happens at conception, when the sperm and the egg unite and fertilization occurs, passing it down to the child from one of the parents. It's amazing. It originated from one of our ancestors and was passed down. So did you ever feel like sometimes you're just not the same as your family members, like you're not the same as your siblings? I mean, you have totally different thinking than somebody else in your family. It's because you probably have inherited other things that aren't even your own, but you're inherited. You have inherited trapped emotions from someone else. So it's like hair color or the eye color. That's inherited trapped emotions, and it's brought through much like the DNA. That's how it comes through. So we can trace it back to past generations, to the originator, no matter how many generations we have to go back, and we've gone through many. And we can release it from all ancestors, not just the person that's present. So it's amazing work. And I've done it myself. I've actually had some work done on myself, and I've gone back 15 to 20 generations and released ancestral stuff from myself. And lastly, there is something else with this modality that I just love, and it's like nothing ever that I've ever worked with before, releasing a heart wall. So a heart wall is a large piece of this puzzle. With research, 93% of people have one and they don't know it. So when we're releasing a heart wall, it will only release somewhere between 8 and 12 layers of trapped emotion at any time, because the body becomes too tired and it can't release any more than that. And the subconscious will actually tell us, stop. You've had enough, the body can't release anymore. So it's a wonderful modality. I've just seen too many benefits from this. The body will take up to 3 days to go through the process of balancing after releasing all of these trapped emotions. And I also suggest to people that are offering this to them, soak in a cup of either Epsom salt or Himalayan salt in a full bath. And if you don't like a full bath, you can do it in a foot bath. Just 20 minutes minimum, either way, foot or a full bath. And stay hydrated. I can't stress that enough. Stay hydrated the next 3 days. A lot of water. It helps to calm and balance, actually, the nervous system during the adjustment. So sometimes when tuning into someone's subconscious and asking if there is a heart wall, there's a 1% chance that we'll receive a no. And the reason for that is the subconscious may feel it's something needed while this person is going through something to protect them, especially like a child, if they are going through the experience of parents getting divorced, or there's a new job if it's an adult, or you're moving. I mean, even something positive can happen and cause a trauma. That's how we get these, is through a trauma. We could be moving to this beautiful new job to California from New England, but we're leaving loved ones. We're leaving friends. So it is traumatic, even though it's a wonderful happening. So the practitioner or the person involved is either tired or dehydrated when we don't get an accurate piece of information. And I continuously drink water while I am doing this on someone. So when we finish, we simply tune in again and ask, does this person or animal have a heart wall of trapped emotions? And you will probably get a yes. And generally it takes 3 to 5 repeat sessions for someone to release it completely. Because like I said, it can only release so many layers per session. So, now that you've heard me mention this before, everything has a frequency, and I mention this all the time, everything has a frequency and a vibration. Trapped emotions are no different and come from organs. The heart wall is actually created by shaving energy off affected organs, believe it or not, and adding it to a heart wall field. It can actually be quite large and protects us during some of the difficult times that we go through in life. That's why it's created. Your subconscious feels you need it. And that's why we use this flow chart. Again, I'll show it to you, so we can see which organs have been affected. This is why we use this. Now, your subconscious has all this information and more. We're the ones that need the flow chart, and this tool has been so amazing. So this is the protection that the subconscious adds automatically. And a heart wall is usually formed from some sort of trauma. That's how we become full of trapped emotions, some trauma. So there you have it, the emotion code with magnets and how it works to help almost instantaneously. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been in the metaphysical field 22 years, and I must say, I have not seen, I've seen some remarkable beneficial things and results with this work, second to none. Okay, so let's get going. Let's stop talking. I'm going to give you a demonstration of how this actually works. So let's get started. So we're going to start with Joe, and this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to check first. I'm going to tune in and make a baseline connection to his subconscious, and then we're going to go from there. So there's several different ways that you can do this. So this is like kinesiology and muscle testing. And we use in the emotion code, we use the fingers and the hands to figure out which modality we want to use or which function works best for us. The one that I use is called the log roll because it most represents the long finger of the arm. And when it stays very firm, that means that's a yes. If it drops, that's a no. So it's just like kinesiology. So if I were to test his arm and it stays perfectly still when I'm testing him, that's a yes. If it goes weak while I'm pressing on his arm, that's a no answer. So it's very similar to that. The arm, it represents the finger. So there's your yes, there's your no. So that's kind of the reason why I use that particular one. But there's several different ones you can use, different hand motions that you can use, and I happen to like this one the best. So what we're going to do now is just lovingly tap into Joe's subconscious, and we're going to see if we can get some information and release some trapped emotion. So it'll give you an opportunity to see how this works. So as we begin, my spirit team is here, Divine Source Council is here, and I'm asking lovingly to tap into Joe's subconscious, to help him help himself. As we do this, lovingly tapping into Joe's subconscious, I'm going to ask if I have permission to tap into his subconscious and connect. So I'm connecting now to Joe, connecting, and this is a no, and this is a yes. So I'm connecting now to Joe's subconscious, connecting, and we have a baseline. That's what they call a baseline when you make connection. So I am now Joe. So my ego has stepped aside, and I am now fully with Joe and part of Joe. So we're going to ask at this time, does Joe at this time have a heart wall? And we're getting a yes. So I'm going to mark that down. He does have a heart wall. So I'm going to ask, we're going to do some basic releasing from the heart wall, but we're going to also do some basic releasing if his heart wall will allow us to do that. So we're going to jump right in and start asking. As we are asking about the heart wall, we're looking at column A again, and column B, that's where the subconscious is going to direct us. So releasing trapped emotions from Joe's heart wall. As we begin, is it in column A as we start? Is it in column B? So we're going right to it. Column B is the trapped emotion in an even row, in an odd row. Is it in row 1? Is it in row 3? Okay, so we have B3. So just to show you again, as you've seen earlier, A and B. The subconscious has narrowed it down to the B column. So we've already eliminated 30 trapped emotions, because there's 60 total. So we're in column B, and it sent us to row 3. Okay, so this is where we're going to go, and these are the organs that are affected. That would be the lungs and colon. And we'll ask at the end, when we release the trapped emotion that we find, which of the 2 organs was affected. Okay, so as we continue now, so we're at B3. So B3, the trapped emotions that are there, and Joe, I'm going to ask if you would take some water, just so that we stay hydrated. All right, so B3. So the trapped emotions in this particular cell: confusion, defensiveness, grief, self-abuse, stubbornness. So we're going to ask the subconscious which one of these it is. So with Joe and his heart wall, is it confusion that's creating the heart wall? Is it defensiveness? Is it grief? There's some grief in his system that he must have experienced at some time in his life, and it got stuck because whatever it was he went through was too intense. And it just stays still. It stays put because we don't know how to process it. And the organs were the lungs and colon. So we're going to ask at this time, do we need more information about the grief, trapped emotion? No? Okay. Can we release it? Yes. So we're going to use the magnet, and we're going to release the trapped emotion lovingly from Joe. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I always do 4. You only need to do 3. Okay, have we successfully released the trapped emotion of grief from Joe? Yes. Okay. And which organs were affected? Lungs, colon. Okay, so we have already diagnosed that in this section, lungs and colon, we found that it is the colon that was affected, not the lungs, and that he had grief, one of the 5 trapped emotions in that cell block. was grief. And we have released it successfully. So as we continue then, I'll do a few of these. So again, does Joe have more trapped emotion in his field of energy creating the heart wall that can be released today? Yes. Is it in column B? Is it in column A? All right, we're going to write that down. Is it in an even row? Is it in an odd row? Is it in row 1? Is it in row 3? A3. So the reason I ask even and odd, the rows go 1, 3, 5. That's your odd rows. 2, 4, 6. That's your even rows. That's just so you can follow me. Okay, so we're at A3, and we want to find out which of the trapped emotions that we have. So the trapped emotions that we're looking for, is it crying? Is it discouragement? Is it rejection? Is it sadness? There's some sadness in Joe. So we're going to pull that through. So again, something that he went through, again, it was a trauma. That's how we create a heart wall. Got stuck in his field, and it just needs an assist to release. So that's what we're doing. And the organs, again, are the lungs and colon. And now we're seeing a pattern because we're seeing where the organs are that are attached. So just to show you this, and I'm going to also put this up there, your bottom 3 chakras, if you know and understand chakras, solar plex, sacral, and root. Normally, these 3 chakras are your earthbound chakras, and anything that we go through in life, we usually hold them in these 3, okay? So his, for right now, the bottom 2, sacral and root, okay? So that's where we're going right now. So as we continue, we found sadness. Let me just put my eyes on. I can't see without these. Sadness, okay, so we will continue. So, we're going to release. Do we need more information at this time? Can we release it? Yes. Okay. So we always ask, do we need more information? So we're going to release it lovingly. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Have we successfully released that? Yes. Okay. So which organs were affected? Lungs, colon. All right. We'll do this again. And at this time, does Joe have more trapped emotion in his heart wall that can be released today? Yes. Okay. Is it in column A? Is it in column B? Okay. Is it in an even row? 2, 4, or 6? Is it in an even row? Is it in an odd row? 1, 3, or 5? In an odd row. So is it in row 1? It's in row 1. Okay. So that's B1. And the organs attached to that are the heart and small intestine. So we're going to ask at this time, which of the 5 in this cell block is the trapped emotion in Joe's heart wall? Is it abandonment? Let me put these on. Is it abandonment? Is it betrayal? Is it forlorn? Forlorn, okay. Here we go. Okay, do we need more information? No. Can we release it? Yes. So we're releasing the trapped emotion of forlorn from Joe, lovingly. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Have we released that trapped emotion? Yes. Okay, so which organ was affected? Was it the heart? Heart. Okay, we'll put a check there. So we're colon, colon, and heart. Okay, so we're going to keep going. At this time, does Joe, I'm going to do 2 more of these, just so that you can see how this works and how fast the turnaround is. And then we'll ask Joe how he's feeling. Does Joe have more trapped emotion at this time? Creating heart wall in his system. Yes. Okay. So is it in column B? Is it in column A? Is it in an odd row? Is it in an even row? Is it in row 2? Is it in row 4? Okay. A4. So I'm looking at the flow chart. Liver, gallbladder. Okay, and that's A4, looking in the A column. Okay, so the trapped emotions that we're looking for, there's 5 in each cell block. Is it anger? Is it bitterness? Is it guilt? There's some guilt that he's feeling, something he must have gone through that he felt strongly and he felt guilty about. Could have been nothing. We can feel guilty about nothing. Okay, but we as human beings are very emotional and very sensitive, and we hold a lot. So the trapped emotion of guilt, do we need more information? Can we release it? Yes. So we're releasing the trapped emotion of guilt. 1, 2, lovingly, 3, and 4. Have we released that trapped emotion? Yes. And the organs affected, was it liver, gallbladder? Okay, and we're going to do one more, and then we'll do a basic just to show you that we can do both. Okay, so at this time, does Joe have more trapped emotion creating his heart wall that can be released today? Yes. Okay, so is it in column A? Is it in column B? Is it in an odd row? Is it in an even row? Is it in row 2? Is it in row 4? Okay, so it's B4, liver and gallbladder. Again, see, all of these are the lower chakra centers in the body. Okay, so last one. So the 5 that we're looking at now in this cell block, is it depression? Is it frustration? Is it indecisiveness? Is it panic? There's some panic in his system somewhere that he picked up, something he went through in his life. And don't forget, there could be things trapped in his heart wall that he's had since a child. So it just has, through the years, been stagnating and stays stuck and grows and grows and grows. So it's in layers. So you can have more layers of abandonment, betrayal, forlorn, helplessness, and self-abuse, depression, any of these, 60 of them, in layers. You can have them more than once, okay? So, panic. Do we need more information? Can we release it at this time? Yes. Okay, so we're going to release panic from Joe. Lovingly, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Have we released that trapped emotion? Yes. And the organs that were affected, was it liver, gallbladder? Okay. So Joe, how are you feeling at the moment, honey? Can you feel anything in your system at all? And I'm not going to lead you in any direction. You feel sleepy, tired? Look at you. Oh my gosh.
No, I actually am feeling a little bit because I'm feeling the release of some of the stuff right off the bat, and I'm still processing some of the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
So.
And how does it make you feel? Are you feeling light? Are you feeling dizzy? Is there anything specific that you're feeling that you can pinpoint? Even if it's just light or tired even.
Well, the tired is definitely there because I felt the release as you were going through. So
okay.
I mean, I know that that's there. It's just, you actually dug up on a couple of things that I'm not even sure I didn't even know was there.
That it was there, exactly.
I mean,
but that's why I'm saying this stuff is very old, so it can be there since your childhood, and it's just now starting to come to the surface and release because we've followed the process. And now the magnets can actually pull it out of the surface of your body. It can actually pull it to the surface and then out. So it's amazing. Okay. But I had a woman, I have to give you this little tiny tidbit of information. I had a woman that had joined us for the free three trapped emotion samples from Oklahoma. She had pain in her right hip, and the pain was very intense. And I always ask if I'm doing a physical release of somebody, in their hips or their knees or their ankles or their wrists, what a headache, whatever is hurting in their body, if it's not an emotional thing. What's the pain level between 1 and 10, 10 being the worst? And she told everybody that it was an 8. Her hip was killing her right hip. And she said, oh my God, I can't believe this. With just 3 of these, right during the session on live Facebook, it dropped to a 2, or 3 or 2. I can't remember, one or the other, 2 or 3. So I'll say 3. She said, I can't believe this. I actually feel so much less pain, it's amazing. So that's why I say to you, what you may be feeling something, but I can't gauge it with a level of 1 to 10 because we're not doing that. We're doing the hot wall, which is going to really unleash a lot. So there's not really someplace I can start with you. But if we did something with physical, which we're going to do, we'll see if there's something there. But you're feeling okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you feel like you need water, definitely drink. Yeah. Okay.
I remember that part. Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to disconnect from the heart wall part of this, and we're going to ask his subconscious, and we'll see if we can do maybe 2 or 3 physical things if he has something physical. But we're going to ask first. We always ask permission. Even when you're doing a remote session on somebody, you have to ask permission. I mean, and I work with people that are from all across the globe, across the country, that have this, and it's amazing. So I'm going to ask Joe's subconscious, Does he have more trapped emotion creating his heart wall? Okay, he does. So that can be released at another time. So at this time, does he have other trapped emotions in his body that can be released aside from his heart wall? Is he up for that healing at this time? Yes. So we always ask, because sometimes you're going to get a no because the body is too tired and it doesn't want anything to do with this at this point. It's too tired. So do you have any pain that you're in anywhere? Hips, a headache, a neck ache, or foot ache, a toe ache? Any aches anywhere? Any pains anywhere?
No toe aches, but
Okay.
we can definitely go with the shoulder area right in here.
Your left
Actually,
shoulder?
Yeah,
Okay.
as a matter of fact, I do, yes.
Okay, so if you were to give me on a level of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, what would you say the level is right now? Before we start, that we kind of have something to gauge.
Right. I'm going to put it at a 7. It's almost like
Wow.
I threw it out.
There's a lot there.
Did. Yes, there is.
Upper
actually.
left shoulder.
Yeah, right in this area here.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's do that. So we're going to work on his upper left shoulder, and we're going to see if we can get anything to release from that. So let's just pull out another sheet while we're working here. Upper left shoulder for Joe. Left shoulder. Okay, so at this time, we're going to ask his subconscious, is there trapped emotion that's triggering the pain he's feeling in his upper left shoulder? And we're getting a yes. Okay, so let's see if we can release 2 or 3 of the trapped emotions there. So is it in column A? Is it in column B? We keep going. And the pain level was, what'd you say, 7?
7, yeah.
Pain level. Now, a lot of times people will have relief immediately and it'll drop, 1 or 2 levels. They may not feel the release until the next day. So I will keep you abreast as to what his timeline was on how he felt. Did it drop from 7 and what did it drop to, okay? So I will keep everybody abreast of that. Okay, so in the meantime, so it's in column B. Is it in an even row? Is it an odd row? Is it in row 1? Is it in row 3? So B3, lungs and colon. Okay, and the trapped emotion that we're looking for his upper shoulder, is it confusion causing that trapped emotion? Is it defensiveness? Is it grief? Still grief in his system and it's traveling. So it's in his shoulder as well. Do we need more information? No. Can we release it? Yes. Okay. We're going to release that trapped emotion of grief lovingly. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Have we successfully released that? Yes. And the organs affected, was it lungs, colon? All right. As we continue, does Joe have more trapped emotion at this time that can be released, causing the pain in his upper left shoulder? Yes. Okay, is it in column B? Is it in column A? Is it in an odd row? Is it in an even row? Is it in row 2? Is it in row 4? I'm going a little bit faster now just so you can follow. Okay, so A4, liver, gallbladder. Okay, and A4, so the trapped emotions we're looking for, is it anger? Is it bitterness? I'm sorry, we'll do this again. Is it anger? Is it bitterness? Yes, I thought so. So there's some bitterness in his system somewhere. Something must have happened along the way in his life and it got stuck. Do we need more information? No. Can we release it? Yes. We always ask if we need more information because sometimes the person that we're working on does. So we're releasing bitterness lovingly from Joe. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Have we released the trapped emotion? Yes. And the organs affected, was it liver, gallbladder? Okay, we'll do 2 more. At this time, does Joe have more trapped emotion in his system that can be released that's causing the pain in his upper left shoulder? Yes. Is it in column B? Is it in column A? Is it in an odd row? Is it in an even row? Is it in row 2? Is it in row 4? A4. Okay, so it's liver, gallbladder. Okay. Okay, so the trapped emotion we're looking for again, is it anger? Is it bitterness? Is it guilt? Is it hatred? Is it resentment? Yes. So something, again, we all have it. Nobody escapes this. Everybody has some of this stuff in their system. So It's just a matter of how to release it. So do we need more information? No. Can we release it? Yes. Lovingly, we're releasing resentment from Joe's left shoulder. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Have we successfully released that? Yes. And the organs affected, was it liver? Was it gallbladder? Okay, one more. And does Joe have more trapped emotion that can be released today that's causing the pain in his left upper shoulder? Yes. Is it in column A? Is it in column B? Whoop. Jumpy. Is it in an even row? Is it in an odd row? Is it in row 1? Is it in row 3? Okay. Lung, colon. Okay, so B3, the trapped emotion we're looking for then. Is it confusion? Is it defensiveness? Okay, so lots of things have come up that are helping to create the pain he's feeling in his left upper shoulder. So do we need more information at this time? No. Can we release it? Yes. Lovingly, we're going to release defensiveness from his upper left shoulder. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, have we successfully released that trapped emotion? Yes. Okay, and the organs affected, was it lungs? Was it colon? Colon. All right, we've released 4 trapped emotions from his upper left shoulder that was causing him so much pain. How's that shoulder feeling right now? Is it still feeling about a 7?
It's actually dropped, I'd say, to about a 5 or 6. It's tingling like crazy. So
is it tingling? Okay.
It is definitely tingling like crazy. So
okay. As long as you're feeling something, that
yes.
means it's doing something.
Yes.
I had a woman say to me one time during the Facebook Live, bubbles. She could feel bubbles moving through her system. It was the strangest feeling. She said, but I could feel something happening in my body. I knew something was going on. All right, so we've released 4 trapped emotions from his shoulder. We've released, how many from the heart wall? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We released 5 from his heart wall. So we're going to keep you abreast as to how he's feeling and let you know with the next session that we have, with the next show that we have next month. And I'll give you a heads up and give you some of the highlights on that. So we're going to disconnect now from Joe at this time. But before we leave, I'm going to ask. And he's saying that the pain level is now about a 5 at the conclusion of that. Okay, good. And it's going to drop more than that. So that's just to give you a cue. It's going to drop more than that, but stay hydrated, do an Epsom salt bath tonight, or just a foot soak, either one, because it's going to drop even more than that. Okay. Does he have more trapped emotion that is trapped or stuck in his upper left shoulder that can be released at another time? Yes. Okay, so we know that there is more there, and we would do that at a later date. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect from Joe at this time lovingly and thank his subconscious for allowing us to tap in to help him help himself. So thank you so much for that. As we disconnect now from Joe's subconscious, and I am back to Cheryl, I am back to Cheryl, I am back to Cheryl. We got a yes. So we have disconnected from Joe. So one last thing that I did want to give you a little information about, I wasn't sure if I did, so I'm going to say it right now. The magnets, the reason we use the magnets is because they hold intention. They're very powerful and they hold intention. They're very powerful. So when we're releasing from someone, let's say we're releasing resentment, and we say we're lovingly releasing resentment from that person, and we're using a magnet, that's why it releases so quickly. It's amazing. So they hold tremendous ability with intention. Okay. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this segment, and I always try to keep it interesting and educational. So thank you so much for joining us, and join us again next month, and we'll give you an update on Joe's healing. I think that's what you could call it. And until next time, stay warm, stay connected, stay tuned. You can go to my website for further information about any of this. And I have other information on there. I have demonstrations as well that you can follow. www.energyworkstudio.com. Thank you, everybody. Until next month, be well.